Welcome to July's Flamingo Community Lagoon. Once again, it is the last Tuesday of the month, so we're here hanging out to chat about Flamingo Finance, the project roadmap, DeFi, crypto markets, and anything else, as well as answer any questions the Flamingo community may have. For those who don't know, Flamingo Finance is an easy-to-use DeFi platform built on the Neo N3 blockchain. As a decentralized exchange, Flamingo is designed with smart functions for everyone, from beginners to advanced cryptocurrency users. On Flamingo, users can stake cryptocurrency in liquidity pools and earn rewards in our native token FLM. We've been around for over 3 years and currently have a TVL or total locked value of 50 million. We've also introduced our very own stablecoin called FUSD, where users can add collateral and borrow the stablecoin against the collateral. For those listening in on YouTube or Spotify, we hold these Lagoons live on Discord, which we'll link below so you can join us in the next one. Please don't forget to like and subscribe from any platform you're tuning in from. Your support is greatly appreciated and is important to get more flamingos at the Lagoon each month. If you're in the audience, feel free to raise your hand and come join us on stage to ask any questions you may have, or drop your questions in the chat and we'll keep tabs on it. So let's get this thing started. How's the weather in Turkey, Zatrov?
It's really hot and I need to turn off the ventilator to being able to speak with my microphone. Yeah, it's really hot and it's hard to work with this kind of weather, but you know, it's global warming issue, I guess, or I don't know, but I'm getting used to it.
Nice. Well, all jokes aside, I think the big news to talk about right now is NeoX. We had the NeoX mainnet launch just a few days ago, so maybe the devs can get into some chit chat about NeoX and the plans for Flamingo NeoX.
Well, there isn't like any huge plans for the UX lined up, as we're kind of trying to launch the order book and the flux, as you know. But it will be kind of like a transition for Flamingo over to release some products on the UX in the coming months. Do you have anything to add, Odds? Like we talked about a little bit before, but yeah.
Yeah, we already worked on some small codes just for testing, but it will start with the regular AMM and evolve from there. But right now it's full focus on order book and flux, final stage, and then I think the focus for NeoX would be to port FUSD to EVMs. So yeah, that would be the most advanced stuff on NeoX for Flamingo in the start. But yeah, starting with some regular AMMs and stuff like that. But it's still early and still in some exploration stages, I guess. From my experience, we'll always have some child diseases, so it's good to wait a bit. I don't think it's, unless they announce that USDT is coming to NeoX the next week or something, I don't think it's a rush to get there. Yeah, so but if there's a rush, we will rush it. If there's not a rush, there's not a rush. So right now it's just another chain. Yeah, and there will be some DEXs there, some projects there, and if Flamingo comes a couple of months after the other ones we come with, we still have the reputation of being a solid platform, and I think moving then to NeoX, even if you're like a late mover, I don't think that's a big issue, because you still have that reputation of 3 years, 0 hacks, and yeah, security first.
I'm really excited.
Security first is a good point.
Really excited that the Neo ecosystem is evolving and growing, and how Flamingo should position itself inside that. I think it's best for us to be with a strong presence on Neo N3 for now, and I'm more excited to see what kind of type of DApps pops up on NeoX, where we can get some kind of cool synergies going on. And being EVM based, that should lend itself for more developers and more code that's already compatible with the EVM to be ported over and to get all the benefits that the consensus mechanisms of Neo has. Be really nice to see what pops up, and going on from that, we could see how we could synergize and collaborate with other projects as well. And we'll try to, of course, have some products on NeoX. Like having a stable coin on NeoX is of course important. I guess some of the major stable coins will somehow appear there, maybe through Flamingo or maybe natively. I'm not sure. But having FUSD there will definitely be good for Flamingo.
I would think, this is just me guessing, that the reason that they chose EVM is because it's easier to get native stablecoin support.
Yes.
Because it's copy paste basically. So for Tether or Circle, it's easier to deploy on NeoX than on NeoN3 because then you don't need all these security checks. So I at least hope that that's the reason they chose to go the EVM path. Of course, it's also the same for every other project. It's easy for every other EVM project to copy paste and be then on NeoX.
Hopefully, it's one of the reasons. It's just speculation, but if one of the major stablecoins is able to deploy directly on or be natively supported on NeoX, that will help on-ramping immensely. So if you could go from a major centralized exchange and withdraw, let's say USDT, directly onto NeoX, that will be truly awesome.
Yeah, or between sexes and stuff like that. Like you see Tron, the volume, 99.9% of the volume are just transactions between centralized exchanges. And with NeoX, you always burn gas. So I think that's, yeah, if we get that native stablecoin is cheap transactions and burn a lot of gas, that's just really good.
Yep. So the main focus then anyways is on releasing the order book, and then closely followed by Flux. And we're just in the final stages now. I think we're trying to schedule the final audit next Monday on August 5th. So that tells you a little bit how close we are in the process. That will also include testnet deployment of all contracts anew. So people in the community are also free to start using those contracts, and we'll also provide instructions then to people running arbitrage bots or other technical who need more technical info to run bots or whatever. And we'll provide that in the public channels so they can also start to be prepared for mainnet launch. It's really exciting to see that we're finally closing in.
Yeah, but it's important, like for the testnet version, it's more for people invoking the chain directly in the start, and then of course the user interface will come so everyone can test it.
Yeah, it's just a deployment
yeah.
on the testnet network itself, and a user interface maybe will be provided in the coming weeks, so people can test as well. But that's further down the line, because then all the user interface needs to be ported over to fit the new contract. But that work will start in parallel as we deploy on testnet. But it won't be ready for a release for users to use yet. So that's the latest and greatest on the order book. And for the Flux, we've found a good way now to separate the logic so that we can independently deploy the order book first and then closely followed by Flux, so that we can have every developer and auditor focused on the order book first, and then everyone can get their mind over to Flux right after the release of the order book. And there's been some small technical changes to Flux also, Mr. Google, hasn't it? Like we've gone back and forth on some of the details. It's not major, but
No, it's more about when you're trying to sell them in the order book. You will have to pay for Flux. You will have this 0.5% burn on every transaction. So if you want to sell your Flux and send them to the order book, you have to pay that 0.5% burn. Then when they are in the order book, you don't get dividends for them, but the order book doesn't get it either. So the Flux contract will have a blacklist of addresses that it will just exclude from the dividends. And then, of course, you can update your orders with new prices and everything inside the order book because you don't move them out. But then also the buyer, if someone buys your Flux, they will transfer them to their own wallet. And then they will also pay this 0.5% burn. So it will basically just be a price impact already there for them. So if you're selling them and someone is buying them, there will be like this 1% price impact on that trade. The reason is that if we try to make it so that everything that's in the order book still get dividends and it's excluded from the transfer tax, it's going to be really expensive gas-wise to do it. It's going to be really complicated and a lot of looping, because if you then say that 10,000 users have Flux in the order book contract, then yeah, the settlements require looping 10,000 users. And yeah, I think you will exhaust the VM and it will fail basically. So since there's not a cap on how many wallets that can hold Flux inside the order book, we can't have that function where we have to loop them, because that will just result in a failed transaction basically when you're doing the dividends.
Yeah, we looked at possible solutions by integrating all the code into one contract as well, where we might have a possible solution where the gas cost wouldn't be that much higher, but still like the complexity would be like too huge to audit with confidence. So we decided it's probably best to keep it simple and make it so if you want to sell, you sell. If you want to hodl, you hodl. So you don't do both at the same time, basically, and that solves a lot of technical issues. So
Yeah, it's also a good way to incentivize holders versus incentivizing traders. You know, if you could earn dividends while you're sitting in the order book, then you're really incentivizing the traders. If you can only earn dividends while you're just hodling, then you're incentivizing the hodlers, and that's really the whole point behind Flux, is to incentivize the investors, like the long-term investors. So it makes total sense to me.
Yeah. And you can plan it the same way that you do with stocks that have X days, noting down when you get dividends or not. So selling before or after the X date or epochs in the terms of Flux would be at your own discretion, and planning how you would like to exit or even then enter Flux by buying. So it's more of an option to get in and out. This is like a secondary option to get in, and this primary action to get out of Flux. And that's why we provide the trading experience of Flux, basically. Compared to what we do with Fund now, where it is possible to get in and out on an instant when you really want it. So I think it ended up being a really good decision. And also then, with regards to the fees, there's a small change as well, so that we can set the maker and taker fee individually for each pair. On the order book, every fee that comes from orders placed in the order book goes directly to the Flux. Every time the AMM is used, it's the normal way to calculate fees, and that goes to the liquidity providers. The fees will change a little bit, and there will be some different fees on different pools. There will be some changes on the FUSD pools or the stablecoin pools, right, Odd?
Yeah, it's better to have lower fees, at least on stablecoins. So there will be for the AMMs, there will be different kind of fees levels basically. But I guess we will try to streamline it so all pools with FUSD have this fee, but then if it's a stablecoin pool, it will have a much lower fee, and if it's just a crypto versus crypto pool, it will have a different fee. So then those fees are just staying there for the stakers, and the fees that are traded in the order book go to Flocks.
Yeah, but we have the possibility now to change them on the fly, and that's really cool, because if we want to maybe have some trading competitions or something, then we can also adjust the fees accordingly to have sort of promotions. And I think that's really cool as well.
Yeah, and same for order book. You will have maker and taker fees. So an order will, if you're a maker, you can have a much lower fee than a taker. So a maker is a person that goes in and adds an order to the order book, and a taker is the one that takes that order and buys it. And it's important to know that when we now calculate, I think the cost of adding an order to the order book will be around 0.05 gas. And then you're a maker, and then that's the gas cost you have, and then someone else will be the taker. So that's using the order book, because then you're adding orders. If you're a taker, you do it usually because you want to swap tokens, or you want to do it for profit or arbitrage. So of course, it's more expensive to buy in the AMM and then buy in the order book than to just add an order in the order book. So I think it's around 0.15 gas for a full swap. And
the calculations will get more and more accurate as we approach launch, but it should be around that.
Yeah, and then like I said, every month then you have to think about the price impact, because buying 1,000 EOS at the same price level from the order book, that gives you 0% price impact, and selling those 1,000 EOS gives you also 0% price impact. Trading on Flamingo today with AMM, selling 1,000 EOS, you will lose around 1% or something in price impact alone.
And also being able to fire and forget and walk away, that's something really like you have to value as well, where you add that order and just wait patiently for it to be executed. That wasn't possible before with a sort of a guarantee. That should be nice. And also worth noting that the gas fee will change a little bit for different pairs, because they can trade at different precisions. We're talking about like decimal precision. If you're trading Bitcoin at a whole $10, perhaps, maybe, or a whole dollar FLM, how many decimals do you need? Is it like 4, 5? And that also decides kind of like what the total gas fee will be for a taker. So there will be some pairs that is cheaper to trade and some that is more expensive, or more normal, I should say.
And will it be free to list?
Free to
will
list,
it be free to
add an order?
Will it be free to add a buy or a sell? Like, do you only pay the fee when it's executed?
No, you pay because you have to invoke the blockchain. So to add or list, as you said, be a maker, then you have to pay the gas fee, and it's around 0.05.
Yeah, but it's also the maker fee, right? So there's two different type of fees we're talking about. This transaction fee that's paid in gas always, and that when you're only adding or posting an order, that will be the cheapest. Because then you also instruct the smart contract that you don't want to take anything from the order book. You don't want to like get any tokens back. You just want to post it. And then you have to make sure that you add that price at the level where you don't expect it to float above that level before something wrong. Hearing some laughters. Okay, let me continue. If you post the order, you should be confident that the price won't swing above or below that price, so that it should be executed. I think then the code will now maybe revert or abort. If your price is quite far from the current price, you will always be sure that you can post it. And by that guarantee, the gas fee is a lot less because you don't have to do all those kind of checks if you should have bought some tokens instead of actually just posting that order. So that will be definitely the cheapest one. We're just posting it. But then there's the maker fee as well, because you're kind of making the market, you're filling up the order book, and that could be set individually. We can have it so that it's actually free to post orders to fill the order book, and then only the takers are the one that's paying a fee.
Okay, makes sense.
So, yeah, hopefully that answers the question. But also, like, there's the fee if you trigger the AMM as well. That's the normal kind of fee that you pay, that you've always been paying. But we will adjust it a little bit down. Isn't that correct, Odd? A little bit down from what it is today.
Yeah, it's the fees will be cheaper. So, but it will still be fees there. But then I think the maker fee will be a bit lower than the taker fee. So because it's good for the takers that there's a lot of makers there.
Is it also possible to get a fee system that rewards traders, like on a normal exchange? Like you pay a normal fee if you have a normal volume, and if your wallet is making like a set amount of volume, it's maybe 0.1% less. Is it possible to program that, or is that not possible on?
It's possible, but then everyone would have to pay much more gas for every transaction. Because then you always have to check if it's this or if it's that. So yeah, it's possible. Everything's possible, but it's not economically possible. So yeah, so for trading competitions and stuff like that, and for volume, we can host more regular competitions where you get the payout after a set amount of time or something like that.
No.
Yeah.
Will removing your order also cost a gas?
Yeah, because you have to invoke the smart contract. So it's like it's decentralized. So everything that you do, if you change the price, it has a cost. If you remove the order, it costs something. If you add the order, it costs something. In gas, it doesn't have any fees for the platform. So it's just the fees for using the blockchain. And that's the biggest thing here. It's like this is a truly decentralized order book. There's no one that can come here and say like this wallet is not allowed to trade here, or this person isn't allowed to trade here. It's a decentralized order book that runs on a decentralized network. So for everything you need to do, you need to pay the gas fee for invoking it.
So then I assume, this is just an assumption, but I assume there will probably be more market trades than limit trades, because people aren't going to order book and pay to enter.
No, but it's much cheaper for you to use the order book than doing a market trade. If you do a market trade, you have the price impact. So if you want to sell 1,000 NEOs right now, I wouldn't advise you to do that on Flamingo, because you would have a big price impact on doing that. But if you add that as a maker order instead,
you post it basically.
You post it, and someone buys it when price moves ahead. You will either have arbitrage or other users buying it. Then you have 0% price impact.
And the gas is quite cheap on that as well. And removing the order is same as adding it, quite cheap to do compared to being a taker. Yeah,
so being a taker is 3 times as expensive as being a maker, basically.
Yeah.
Is there going to be an option that while I am listing my offer in limit order, can I select something like deactivate this order in 2 hours if it's not filled, or user needs to deactivate it again?
Yeah, no, we don't have any. So the thought here is that other more like complex logic should be own smart contracts that users trust, or if Flamingo makes them, or if other users make them, or bots that you run on your computer. Because the issue, if you try to make the order book too complex, is that everything goes up in gas. So for everyone, it will be more expensive.
Okay, so users always need to cancel their limit order themselves if they want to.
Yeah, and the reason why you need to do that as well is kind of optimizing gas for every trade, like every normal trade, because if you set an expiry on it, the kind of tree-like structure we use to record how much is available for trade, so that you don't have to loop every order that is there. There could be like a million orders in the order book, and it's still like the gas cost is the same, and that's the reason why you can't really post with an expiration time, because if you have that, you would have to loop all the orders to check which one is out of
Valid.
which one is valid and is not valid. Everything is kind of lumped together. It seems strange, but every token for sale is lumped together at the price level. And with some clever mathematics, we are able to figure out what belongs to who without looping every order. So it becomes impossible to do that kind of implementation where it has an expiry and after that it's not valid anymore. When you cancel it, you actually modify what's available for sale at that level.
Sounds fine. As soon as it's cheap, that will be no problem in long term.
Yeah. Cheap enough, we hope.
Yeah,
So,
I think it's important. Like, it's not Binance cheap. It will never be Binance cheap.
we'll never be
So I at least see the strengths that I see. Of course, if your goal is to swap one FLM for gas, yeah, then the order book is expensive to use. But you don't bring volume. So basically you pay more transaction fee.
is come back an hour later, it's triggered. That's perfectly fine. But also setting kind of like this limit order. This is the maximum I'm willing to pay and fill the order as much as possible within that price. I also love trading that way. So all these things become possible, and I think that's a power future because of every kind of trading platform that's not decentralized offer limits trading, and there's a reason for that. Is user likes to set their own price and not be only a slave of.
And limit trading brings volume, because without limit trading you don't have volume. Then you need a big holder of token A and token B, basically. So then you need a huge AMM, because that's what we talk about. The price impact is when you swap tokens in an AMM, you will have a price impact. So right now, if I try to swap on Flamingo 1,000 NEOs to FUSDT, I will lose 2% of my assets. So I will have a price impact of 2%. If I now add a limit order at the current price for 1,000 BNEO, I have 0% price impact. So I don't lose anything.
But
Yeah,
for example,
you have to be there at that time. You have to set an alarm. Like, now the price is good enough, and
yeah, but still you will have price impact. So,
yeah,
so with the limit order you have, so with the limit orders, we bring the possibility to sell 1,000 NEOs or 10,000 NEOs or buy 10,000 NEOs. Without limit orders, I would say it's not possible to sell 10,000 NEO right now on Flamingo, because you would have a huge price impact.
Yes, and that's aggregated as well. Thinking like 10 people selling 100 NEOs, that would also like kind of impact price, and arbitrage would have to bring it back. And then, but on aggregate, like it's also good to have multiple people being able to post at that level, and having that price level be thick, like at the shelf. Yeah. Yes. Because then,
but now there's no reason why volume can't grow. With an AMM, you have a reason, because if the AMM is not deep enough, you need to do a lot of small trades over time.
Mm-hmm.
So arbitrage can come and like reset the price for you, but then you lost some dollars, because arbitrage isn't someone working voluntarily giving you free money. Yeah. They are earning the few dollars that you are losing. So if I'm trading, like I say, if I want to sell 10,000 NEOs on Flamingo now, I have to sell them at the price of $9.50 each. And that's $2 on the market price.
And Flamingo
But if-
can forever be like a platform where you do trade 10 coins because of price impact. That's like 12 or 15 tokens, even like between 10 and 50 tokens. That's the only thing we can support with the liquidity we have because of price impact. Now it could be like 100 different tokens because
it's easier now to just add a new AMM because you don't need a deep AMM. People can just come and add limit orders. So okay, if I try to trade in the AMM 1,000 tokens, yeah, that will be bad. But I can add a limit order, and maybe someone wants to buy that limit order. So I don't get the price impact, they don't get the price impact, and the platform gets more volume.
if the token is popular enough.
Isn't there
Sorry,
also?
go ahead, Nori.
Yeah, I was just wondering about. I don't have 1,000 Bitcoin, but imagine that I have 1,000 Bitcoin, and I want to put them on the market. Isn't it possible for whales to block the market movements if they put a lot of money or big orders on the order book, and it takes time for the bot to do the arbitrage? How long is the price blocked then on the platform?
That depends, and it's the same everywhere. So I can go on Binance and add like a sell order of 10,000 Bitcoins. But price, like now, price is 66,800. So I do that on Binance. Price will still go to 69,000 or 67,000 on Coinbase. But then people will start to buy Bitcoin on Binance, transfer them to Coinbase to sell them to make $200 per Bitcoin. And price can still go to 67,500 on Coinbase, even better arbitrage opportunities. So it's the same for Flamingo. Like price can, you can add those 1,000 Bitcoins there to create a wall. But then the market around this, everything is connected. so you can make the wall on Flamingo, but still then there's an arbitrage or an opportunity for someone to make free money, basically, by buying Bitcoin from you on Flamingo, taking them out, transferring them into Binance, selling them there, taking the FUSDT into Flamingo, buying more of your Bitcoin, and doing that round. And then after a while, your Bitcoin will be sold, and then price is even on all platforms.
The answer is like how long will the wall exist? Quite short, I guess.
Depends on the outside price.
Yes, and if it goes away, that's like the concern anyways, that it floats away from the price on Flamingo. Then the further it floats away, the faster it will be solved. Like the opportunity is so big to earn free money. That's basically what arbitrage is. So I think most of the bots that's running on this network is already set up to work that way. So if the opportunity presents itself, they will quickly transfer the assets that's needed to go round and round and round.
But also users. It's
also
like
users
if you can make $1,000 doing some trades and you're guaranteed to make those, it's like I of course users do them as well. So if you see that, let's say like on Flamingo now, Neo costs $5. I'm pretty sure everyone in this chat would start buying Neo, sending them to Binance, and selling them there for $11.50.
Yes, won't take long before the price is back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So the main thing that the order book brings, it's two things. It's making the traders have 0% price impact, and I think like it's important to understand what the price impact. It's actually just a loss you have. It's not the fee. Nobody's gaining from it other than maybe arbitrage if the price impact is big enough. But it's basically that you take a hit because the AMM don't have enough liquidity to make it a good trade. That's why we have this. Just go into Flamingo and go be in your FUSD and type in 10,000. You will get this huge warning saying, warning, price impact 17%. So basically what it's saying is that you will lose 17% of your money doing this trade. So with the order book, you get 0% price impact on these 10,000 Binios. And also with the order book, we get that volume on Flamingo. Without the order book, this volume isn't possible on Flamingo.
It goes to Binance, basically.
Yeah, it will go to a centralized exchange because it's not possible. And I guess for most users, it's really nice sitting in your wallet, for at least for people that like self-custody and just like, yeah, okay, maybe I have to pay 30 cents more than I have to pay on Binance, but I don't have to send my assets into Binance. I don't need to hold them on Binance. I don't need to transfer back the other asset. So I can just post a limit order on Flamingo. It costs me 30 cents more. Nice.
And you don't have to KYC for any centralized exchanges.
Yes. If we take it back to the fundamentals, if we
that's also worth the price, not the
yeah, if we take it back to like we want to create the smart economy on Neo, Neo Entry and Neo X, it's like we have to have these features to complete the set of what we need to build a smart economy, and limit orders is part of that. It will be a little bit more expensive, but you're kind of completing the feature set of what you need from the full trading experience and the fully decentralized trading experience. And so yeah, in my opinion, I think you get kind of three things. You get this zero price impact. You get the option to choose your time preference, so you can set a goal and a price that's high up, and you could just wait until that is triggered. It's a kind of like a fire and forget. And the last thing you get is possible to trade more tokens on the exchange. So Flamingo will be able to offer more trading pairs because it's cheap to add an order book on top, and then you just need a little bit of liquidity in the pool that is below it. Acts as the market maker. So
you don't need these millions of dollars anymore that you basically need today.
Yeah, exactly. And then there is an upper limit, no matter what, to how many tokens you can have and still have a good trading experience. And adding like really unpopular tokens will still be hard, because who will post most of the orders in the order book? I guess not a lot of people, but with the more popular tokens, it's a better trading experience, because then you will have more orders in the book and more liquidity in the AMM.
Good questions.
Yeah, and then it also only remains to have a better cross chain, so that we get more tokens listed, or maybe they will be listed on the UX. Who knows? Then it's more incentive to move more Flamingo logic over there as well. Any questions from the audience, by the way? Remember, it's called Community Lagoon, but it's also a Ask Me Anything session. So if anyone has any questions. Is there any questions in the chat? No. Just feel free to right click and raise your hand if you want to ask a question. If there's no question, maybe the marketing team would like to elaborate a little bit what's going on in the summer.
Yeah, we've been primarily focused on, for one, the recent dashboard-a-thon that just came to a conclusion last week. We've announced our winners. We had several submissions of various bots and dashboards. Winner of the contest was a single-person team. His name is Marco. He won 500 gas. His dashboard, very nice dashboard. It includes data points and statistics about specific wallets. Like you can type in any wallet that you're interested in and look at all of the stats for that wallet. It also can show you claims, various stats for lending, pools, staking, trades, transfers, and more. If you're interested in checking out the dashboard, I will actually drop the link in the chat for those who are here. We really liked that dashboard, and we're excited to move forward with Marco and see where we can kind of take it from here. Place went to Team Duck, Team Duck and Micah Colleen, who built a nice little bot that they are calling My Flamingo. It uses Flamingo's APIs. It displays the user's liquidity pool data upon address registration. You can set a preferred currency. The team is implementing. Implementation was in great order. Oh, they're going to check pool value amounts, and they're also going to add like optimal times to restake. You'll be able to get alerts with this bot. And in the near future, they'll be checking for RPC node notifications and RPC connections specifically for unclaimed accounts and figuring out personalized APY. And then third place went to Evaqa and Ecom Martin. They won 200 gas. They built a dashboard and a Telegram bot. And yeah, congratulations to all winners. I will drop some links in the chat now. So yeah, we've been focused on the dashboard-a-thon this summer. We've been also focusing on continuing focusing on the ambassador program and the Zealy campaign. Maybe now's a good time for Zatroff and Morton to weigh in a little bit on how the Zealy campaigns have been going this summer.
Morton.
Yes, sure. We have left behind the Zealy campaign the very high participation and success rates. I would even say it was higher than ever. Support that with a very simple statistic. Exactly 100, more than 100 users completed the sprint with 470 XP. That means that they completed all tasks without any mistakes. Congrats to all the winners, and don't be sad to those who didn't win. Their efforts are invaluable in any case. See you in the next campaign on August 1st.
Awesome. And now that devs are back from the short vacations, we'll get rewards for July's campaign out soon. Maybe we can take this opportunity to get the mic over to Somnium Wave, who can maybe give us a quick update on some of the video content he's been working on.
Yeah, hey, what's up, guys? So yeah, I've almost got the Phlox tutorial video done, so that's going to be ready to rock whenever the devs and the team launch everything. So you guys will have a video ready to kind of guide you through the process. It's pretty straightforward, but just want to make sure it's very thorough and as dense as possible and kind of explains everything as best as it could. And yeah, I've been doing some other pretty interesting things, especially using like the ChatGPT like API and stuff to kind of like generate more video content ideas. I've been like kind of messing with the API because usually on ChatGPT using like the front end, like the normal interface is pretty cool, but sometimes it gets kind of, if anyone here uses ChatGPT, you know that it kind of gets lazy sometimes. So I've been using like the API, which allows for like higher token inputs and you could get a lot more back and stuff. So I've been feeding it a lot of data from some of the lagoons and stuff and kind of like using that as a kind of like a database, or I don't know what they call it, but basically like as a context source to kind of give more ideas on like short form content, long form content. So yeah, I got some really good videos coming up regarding just all the progress that the devs have made on the order book and Phlox. So yeah, I think we should have some pretty solid content coming up pretty soon.
Awesome.
Nice.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
Yeah. Sorry. I'd just like to give a shout out to Anthropic. If any of you guys have used Claude AI, it's super dope. Especially like I would say ChatGPT, it's good for like more word, kind of like not grammar, but just like more word sentence based stuff. But if you use Claude or Anthropic AI for coding, it's like on another level, honestly. So I've really been enjoying using that as well for different kind of tasks for like content ideas and stuff.
Nice.
Sweet. I just started using Claude 2 recently, and yeah, I'm very, very impressed as well. Good stuff. Looks like we have a question from Dylan G in the chat. Somnium Wave, have you checked out Venica AI? Venice AI.
No, I haven't. I've never even heard of it, but I will definitely check out. I'm definitely always trying to be on the cutting edge of the newest different language models out there and stuff, and it's getting pretty hardcore. I think even Open AI, they just gave access to the API for like a 64K token input and output. So yeah, I mean, now you can really like put a lot of text in there, and I think it's like $18. It's like $6 for input and $18 per output. But I mean, you could have up to like 1 million tokens or something, or words. I don't know the exact details, but it's getting pretty crazy. I'm loving it.
It's cool to see like AI is invading every kind of industry, and recently Flamingo partnered with an, let's say, AI partner as well, AlphaNet, and on the Phoenix chain. And it's cool to see the kind of type of tools they develop as well, and they kind of have their own approach to LLMs as well to help guide users on platforms. That's something we will discover more with them, to see if that's something we can integrate into Flamingo as well, to help users learn and kind of use Flamingo, having that kind of chatbot integrated that is context aware about the platform and its features. So it will pop up everywhere. AI. I love using AI in my creative process a lot, but where I find it's lacking the most is reasoning about like huge code bases and kind of innovation, where you have to invent new stuff, new algorithms, things that hasn't been done before. It's trying to go down like an old route, where it's comfortable, where it's been learning stuff, and the kind of all the new stuff. It's kind of like you need to give it so much hints to get it to do it right. Yeah.
That's why I, even as a writer, like actually don't use it all too often, because most of the time what I'm writing about is things that haven't been launched yet or invented yet or even discussed yet anywhere, as such as like user guides for new UI or copy for a button on the platform or an error message on the platform. You can't really use AI for that stuff. So while I do tinker with it and toy around with it, the type of work that I do tends to not be so friendly with AI, because there's no way you could even ask it. I mean, you might be able to ask it like I'd spend so much more time coming up with the question to ask it than it would for me to like write what I'm asking it for, like I'd have to say like, if Flamingo Finance launched this specific feature and I wanted it to do this, and with this button, what copy would I write? It would have been quicker for me to just write the button copy. But I do tinker with it for like some of the longer form, like maybe marketing type style content. I do tinker with it here and there. I think it's a great tool, especially really good for like Somnium, like video scripts and tweets and stuff like that. But yeah, for announcements, like things that aren't even available to the public yet, like it's very difficult, like you're saying at Laser, it's very difficult to use AI there. But I bet you in the future it'll be able to predict our minds, and it'll be able to tell us what we don't even know.
Sometimes in code it does feel like it, if it's familiar territory for the AI model, it really does feel like it's reading your mind. So it suggests what like 5 lines that you're just about to write. It pops into your head and it pops up on as a suggestion at the same time on a computer. It feels magic. But like you say, with kind of like the longer content like articles, then you have enough context for it to reason about it. If it's too short, like 5 words, this is trying to make an announcement that is 30 words, it can't really have the context from that, so you have to write more than the announcement itself. It doesn't really make sense, but you could give it a whole article and say, could you make an announcement out of this? And then it's really good. And summarizing articles, it could be good at doing that. And for me, writing specifications is like, okay, now I've written like 2 pages, 3 pages about this whole product. Could you like summarize technical feature set specification that a developer should read and tick the boxes of? And it's really good at doing that. Kind of like I can reason about all the text that you provided me. I can make that into bullet points for you. It's good at doing that kind of stuff. But still, too little to reason about and too much to reason about. That's where I feel like it's falling out.
Yeah, and I really, one of the recent things, like when the devs made like the mono repo, they talked about it a bit, and like I kind of understood the gist of it, but I really like using it because it's like I kind of gave it the scenario of like how you guys used to compile the different smart contracts, and it would take a while to like deploy them, and like every time you wanted to update something you had to like wait for it, and I kind of gave it like that scenario, and I would tell it like like explain to me like the benefits of this way versus like a mono repo, and like give me like a full breakdown of detailed analysis of like the pros of this and the cons. So it's like it really helps a lot when you give it like the right context.
Yeah, that's familiar territory. Also, like it's been discussed all over forums for decades, I guess. Like these, or at least in the recent 4 years, the monorepo approach as opposed to like microservices approach. So it has a lot of context already from the internet. It's been scraping, so I guess it will be really good at like reasoning and giving you arguments about that. So it's some tasks. It's really magic to use it. Like even if you have a small kind of like sales pitch and you ask, can you make it better? Can you find other arguments? And you're like, wow, that's really good. You feel like kind of like a superhuman when you use it in when it works. You feel like a superhuman.
So, looks like we've got minutes left. If anyone else has any other questions they want to come on stage with or drop in the chat, feel free to.
Yeah, we did some chatting. You guys were in the AI zone.
Yeah, you talked a little bit about inflation, right? Would you like to repeat it in voice so people on Spotify and YouTube can also?
Yeah. It's that the plan is to reduce it now because we haven't reduced it when we should. So it will be reduced by around 50% over a period of time because there will be some
rewards.
Minting rewards. Yeah, there will be some migration time when order book is coming in, when Flux is coming. So it won't be like cut in half at day one. And I don't think for users that you will feel that it's cut in half. Some pools will lose a lot of minting because we don't need all that liquidity in those pools. Some pools will lose all their minting, but we will still be able to have base liquidity in those pools. And some pools will get, let's call it more minting, but less. It's a higher percentage of the total, but the total is smaller. But also we think that introducing the burning of FLM to Flux together with all the fees from the limit trading. So getting it down to around 175,000 a day instead of 350, and then from there it will be every 6 months. It will have a reduction of around 6%. But if the performance is good, if we don't need all that liquidity in the AMMs or like the performance of FLM is good, it will be cut faster because the goal is to basically make it scarce. Yeah.
And Dylan asks if we have any plans to bridge or cross-chain to other solution like Solana, Base or Cosmos, but like cross-chain, of course, if you want to add some tokens, but for that was this question. Okay, only bridge or cross-chain. Yes, that we do have in the plan. Was reading like kind of like porting over. No, we were not porting, but cross-chain, yes, definitely opening up for more chains when we have our own solution. It should be easier to port to many chains, and I look really forward to that, replacing the cross-chain solution with, or having multiple cross-chain solutions, I should say. So we have some redundancy there to support more tokens. Yeah. I guess that was maybe the last question we have time for.
It looks like we can wrap things up.
It's kind of
Thanks,
sad
everyone.
to don't hear Dylan's voice, though.
Yes. We promised him to do a kind of a session somewhere, maybe on X or whatever, to do a podcast with him once things are released and we can hype a bit more, not just talk about what's to come. So we promise you, Dylan, we will do that podcast if you're still available and not mad at us for letting you wait that long. So that will definitely come.
Perfect. Have a nice day, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone, for joining. And we'll see you in the next Lagoon in August.
Yeah.
Take care.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Take care.
Peace out.
Yeah.
Goodbye.